Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello and welcome to Importing Done Right. I am your host, Brendan Elias, and today what we're going to cover is how to negotiate and get local prices on your imported goods. So let's get straight into it. So what we're going to cover is advanced negotiation. We're going to go straight past the basic stuff, because I know you can handle it, into the nitty-gritty of how to get your prices from your supplier in China to be as cheap and affordable and workable as possible. So what we're going to cover is three things. The first thing we're going to cover is how to negotiate with Guanxi, which is the Chinese word for connections, because in business and in negotiation, it's not what you know, it's who you know. We're also going to talk about the price factor triangle and how that's going to help you with importing and sourcing your products. And also, I'm going to end with some final advanced tips on negotiation to help you. So let's get straight into it. So when you're dealing with suppliers in China, understand that there are 9 principles that apply. So the first thing that applies is the concept of relationships. Also is the concept of losing face and making sure no one loses face, social hierarchy, harmony, the concept of family, and also the concept of pressure, thrift, business, and ultimatums. So let's get straight into it. So relationships in China. So Chinese people do business on the basis of relationships. So often you're going to have a situation where you might be dealing with one of their staff members, and often you won't be dealing directly with the business owner themselves. And often you'll only be able to work with them through their supporting people. Now, I understand that when dealing with the Chinese, and a lot of Asian cultures as well, that everything works in terms of gifts, all right? Gifts are very important in terms of favors, in terms of exchanges of kindness. So if you give a present or a gift to a factory owner or a factory staff member in China, whether it be something innocent, like I'm from Australia, so maybe a toy kangaroo for the staff member's child, that can go a very, very long way. The other thing is that don't expect just because you give a gift that it'll automatically come back, that suddenly there'll be a briefcase with $1 million, light coming from heaven, ticker tape falling down, and suddenly you're a millionaire because you've given a $20 kangaroo as a gift. It doesn't work that way, but it will eventually filter down. The other thing to mention is that when you do business in China and you do business in such a way where you are exchanging business cards, you need to do it in a different way. So the typical way of exchanging a business card would be simply to hand it to someone with one thumb on one corner. In China and in Asian cultures in general, when you have a business card, you should hold each corner with each thumb and then pass it with a little bow to the other party, and they're going to grab the other side of it like this and then take it off you. And that's how the business card exchange is done. It's very simple, it's very subtle, but it will show the supplier automatically that you are experienced in the importing and Chinese cultural business dealings. Also, if you go to the factory in China, be very investigatory. Don't just say how much. Get to know the factory and get to know the people you're dealing with, their products, their quality, not just their price. Wonderful. Okay. Now, the next thing I just want to talk about that I'm going to share with you is the concept of losing face. So when you're dealing with Chinese, be very careful that you don't operate in the way that you would in the West. Now, in the West, we can be quite emotional. We can be upset. It's like, if you don't have the contract on my desk by 5 p.m. Friday, the deal's off. And that might translate as, say, we get our product from China, say the quality is crap, say we spin, right? And then suddenly the thing falls off. We might be tempted to say, hey, you sold me this piece of junk, screw you. I'm so upset that, I've spent $5 an item for one of these and you've given me a $2 item. How dare you, right? that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but even a 1% inkling of that with the Chinese could really be the difference between a successful deal and a deal that goes the way of the Titanic. So be very, very careful when you do that. Be calm, be cool, be collected, consider your response, and always stand outside of the emotion and just be cool, calm, clear, and objective. Right? The other thing on that point is in terms of the pace. So often when you deal with the Chinese and when you deal with suppliers, you're often going to find that things that you thought would take a week that could take a month, and things that take a month could take 3 months. And it can be very slow, and this can be infuriating for Westerners. I know from teaching over 20,000 students that however slow that I tell students to expect it to be, it can even be slower. And it's important that you don't just react to that being fast. How much, when, and you get angry and you treat them poorly, because if you do that, you're going to end up paying through your nose and you'll end up paying more. Also, show respect to the factory, give your time, and appear that you are patient, even if your body and your skeleton is jumping out of your skin. Remain patient, and you'll appear to them to be a wise, and confident business person, and then they'll treat you towards respect. So just to sum up the concept of losing face, is that patience and persistence is the key to success with dealing with Chinese. Okay, so now we're going to talk about social hierarchy. So the way it works is that you should always work up the ladder. You're not going to jump in and straight away, in a lot of cases, deal directly with the owner of the factory. You'll often be dealing with staff members. Now be very complimentary. If you have the product, pick up the product, say, oh, this is a good quality, right? Look at the base of the glass. It's very thick. This is a very good quality item. You are obviously a very high quality factory. Congratulations. And just be very kind and very nice and very friendly. So be complimentary when dealing with the factories. Also, if they pass you a business card, you might go, oh, wow, this has gold writing. You know, gold is very high value. You're obviously a very successful factory. Congratulations. And be complimentary a little bit. This goes a very long way, just appealing to the ego on a very slight level when you deal with it with a factory. Also understand that age, rank, title are very important. A good title on your card will be General Manager. That translates quite well into Chinese. And understand that if you have a staff member with you that works under you, get them to deal with their staff member that works under the factory. Often you'll find that at the factories, if you're negotiating face-to-face, it'll be your staff member and their staff member will often be women. And they're almost always on the factory level, the staff member communicating will be a woman. So just be aware of that, because often what will happen is that you'll have your staff member which will communicate with their staff member, and you stay back and let them often do the talking. Also, understand that your title and their titles should match, so it should be done. The person of one rank on your side talks to someone of one rank on their side. So the most important person in the middle, and then it spreads out. Be prepared if you go to the factory to spend some time, okay? The two best strategies to get the best price from the Chinese factory are karaoke and vodka, okay? If you and what I mean by that is that if you communicate with the factory in a very formal, stuffy way, it's very nice to meet you, right? And there's no personal interaction, then you're not going to make a friend, right? The factories will take you out to drink. They'll pour you the famous Tsingtao beer or vodka, enjoy it, and interact with them, make friends, and spend more time on social than you do business. And if you find that the ratio of social to business is more on the social side, it means that you'll get paid dividends on the business side eventually. Talk to them about they look to the Westerners like heroes. Okay, to them, everyone is David Hasselhoff from Baywatch. So talk about your family, talk about your hobbies, talk about what you like doing, talk about really what inspires you and excites you, and develop a friendship. Every time I've done that with someone from China, then I find that the communication's easier and I get what I want, all right? But remember, do not push the factory again and again and again and again and again on the subject of money. Social, responsible, fun, interactive relationships form the primary start, and then move on to the money after that, okay? That's very, very important. Okay, so let's talk about harmony. So when you deal with the factories, never ever show any emotion. Don't fight with your staff. If you see them fighting with each other or having any disagreement, that's not your way in. They will often be united and they'll always stick together. Don't try and play them off against each other, and try not to be hard-headed or loud or foolish, or stay. It's almost like you want to stay within the very narrow band of emotions and not step outside of it. Top people in business are very quiet, cool, calm, and collected. If you want to know who the richest person in the room is in a Chinese dinner, you look for the person who's moving the least.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.